This is not a werewolf story by Sandra Evans, chapter 14, where Raoul finds out he has family. After classes are over, I head back toward my room. I have a lot on my mind. I want Vincent to like me enough to do 50 push-ups for me. I want Mary Ann to call me heroic. I want Ms. Turn to grab her shiv and help me get the cougar. Raoul! The dean's voice makes me jump. I step into his office. Maybe he found out more about the cougar. Dean Swift is at his desk. My nose twitches. Then I notice Tuffman sitting behind him, in the corner by the window. On the table, next to Mr. Tuffman, there's a lamp with a stained glass shade. It throws a blotchy pattern of light onto his face, like he's wearing a coat of many colors. Mr. Tuffman and I were just having a little chat, Dean Swift says. The drawing. Ms. Turn ratted on me. How could she? Someone gave the dean here the impression that I've been picking on you, says Tuffman. You got any idea who that might be? I almost smile, I'm so relieved. Cook Patsy must have got wind of the dodgeball disaster. You think that's funny? Tuffman asks. No, Mr. Tuffman, says Dean Swift. We're not here to accuse anyone, not Raoul or you or any member of our staff. We are here to open the lines of communication. The dean beckons to me. Ready to listen, Tuffman half stands. Ready to pounce. I don't know what comes over me. I bolt like a bunny in the woods. Tuffman's on me before I hit the stairs. He grabs me by the back of my shirt. With his fist, he gathers the material in tight, like a straitjacket, and steers me to the office. Keep your clothes on, he says in my ear. Today, you're gonna talk. I shudder, like that bunny in the woods when my wolf breath hit its neck. Tuffman lets go of me before we get to the office. As we walk in, he rests his hand on my shoulder. He goes back to his chair in the corner. I squeegee his spit out of my ear with the cuff of my sleeve. Have a seat, my boy, Dean Swift says. I'm sure we'll find that this is nothing more than a little misunderstanding. I've been coming on too strong, Tuffman says to me. Let me tell you why. He leans forward. The shadows from the lampshade flicker across his face. I see that they are shapes. A red butterfly on his forehead, a playful kitten on his mouth. We got history, kid, you and me. Dean Swift looks back and forth between us, big-eyed. I didn't even know it until I got here and read your file. Then I thought it was best to keep quiet. I could see Raoul was traumatized, he says to the dean, and I was recovering from my last back surgery. I didn't have the strength to tackle the problem. You get that, right? Indeed. Serious injuries like yours can take a grave emotional toll, Dean Swift says. Tuffman clears his throat. I knew your mother, Raoul. I coached her at the university. When she went to nationals, she broke all the records. I bet she never told you, did she? His lies are getting personal again. I don't like it. I was the only one who could outrun her. Your dad couldn't come close to keeping up with her. My dad? Now he knows my dad? Liar. Your mom had a real shot at the Olympics. It was your dad who put an end to all that. He got a job studying whales or something. She had to choose between him and the team. She chose him. Last I heard, they were living in a one-man tent on Orcas Island. I sit up. That part's true. I was born on that island. The lampshade shadows shift. Now a running dog rests on Tuffman's cheek. His voice is soft. Your mom was an amazing woman. Kind. No ego. Always putting everyone else first. I stop hating Tuffman. I stop hating him because in his voice, I can hear that he loved my mom too. Raoul, he says softly. He comes across the room. He reaches out like he's going to touch me. I flinch, but I want to hear what else he has to say. When I got here and found out who you were and what all had happened to you, I thought maybe fate had sent me for a reason. Your mom gave up her dream for your dad. She had disappeared a long time before she disappeared, if you know what I mean. You're a lot like her, the way you hide yourself. I started thinking that maybe if I toughened you up, you'd learn to put yourself first. My heart's in the right place, Raoul. I didn't mean to scare you. It makes sense in a strange way. Maybe his heart is in the right place. Thank you for telling me, I say. I never knew my mom could have been in the Olympics. It fills me with pride. Since she left, my mom has become a shadow to me, a warm shape in a dark room in my mind. The more time passes, the darker the room gets, the harder it is to see her. Tuffman just walked into that dark room and turned on a nightlight. I can see her better now. I see my dad better now, too. I don't think he means to be selfish. And I guess it's good to know that I'm not the only one he was selfish with. Forgetting about me has more to do with him than me. It's not because I'm so easy to forget, it's just who he is. Your mom and I were so close. I miss her. Tuffman's voice breaks. See, I'm no good at all this. He puts a hand over his eyes. His Adam's apple bobs up and down. When he takes his hand away again, his eyes are damp. I put my head down in my hands. I knew he'd make me cry. So, you gotta tell me how I can help you, Tuffman says. He kneels down in front of me. You can't trust everybody you meet. Even best friends will betray you. But you can trust me, Raoul. I think of White Wolf and the scrape in her side, and the broken-necked bunny I left for her in the grass. The relief runs over me like rain on your face when you look up into the sky. He will help me help my mom. Tell me about the woods, Raoul. He opens his arms. I slip from the chair. I know everything about your mom, Raoul. I can't say the wrong thing to him. He knows everything already. The words rush up. The whole story of how she found me and I found her. It started last year, I say. I was so sad about my dad forgetting me. My voice is very small. It's because the words are so true. The truer the word, the closer to silence. Oh, we all were, Dean Swift says quickly and kindly. We all were. Just tell us what happened, Raoul, Tuffman says. I lift my arms and I put them around him. He squeezes me to him. Warmth. Nobody has hugged me in a long time. I don't mean to, but through his polo, I feel a long raised river of skin, his scar. The second I touch it, his fingernails plunge into my back. They bite into my skin through my thin shirt. My shoulders jump up, and just as quick, he pulls away from me and pats me gently. He looks down so I can't see his eyes. I get a deep, bad, black feeling. The 8 half-moons left by his fingernails on my back burn. This is the kind of guy who can hurt you when he hugs you. This is Tuffman. I sit back in my chair, far back. I almost told him everything. I watch him as he hangs his head. I forget to blink. Finally, he looks up. He's still sitting on his heels in front of me still. His eyes search the air above my head. He's looking for the words to make me forget those half-moons. Raoul, I can't keep this secret anymore. Your grandma was my sister. Oh, Dean Swift gasps. Oh, goodness. You're his family. I look at Tuffman. I don't see the resemblance. Your grandma was a lot older than me. Before she died, I promised her I'd take care of your mom. I was barely 20. She was around your age. I did the best I could by her, Raoul. Tuffman taps my knee to get me to look at him. He says my name again, Raoul. He wants me to talk, but I can feel the sting of his nails in my back. I'm your great uncle. What else can I say to convince you, Raoul? He asks again. His voice has a hard edge to it. I can feel how desperate he is. The more he wants my words, the less I want to give them to him. He gets to his feet. His left hand reaches back. I think he's touching his scar. I loved her like a little sister, he whispers. The words send a jolt through me. I've heard them before. Didn't he tell me that it was family who injured him? Someone he had loved like a little sister? I shiver. My mom gave him that scar. I smell it. Something's wrong. Something bad. Story time's over, Tuffman. But I can't look away from him. My neck won't let me. It's tight and stretched and forces my face in his direction. He lowers himself into the chair by the lamp. His back must hurt from crouching in front of me for so long. Shadow leaves from the lamp flutter across his face. He looks tired out. He looks how I feel when I'm deep in the woods and I've spent an hour chasing a bunny, and at the last second the bunny darts into a hole just big enough for my nose, but too small for me to get my mouth open. Dean Swift honks into his pocket handkerchief. For the love of St. Jude, I never foresaw such a turn of events, he says damply. Never in all my years to witness such a reunion. Happy day. Happy day. The bell rings. I back out of the room. Tuffman watches me through half-closed eyes. We'll talk later, he says. He smiles softly at me. There's more to the story, Raoul. I race upstairs. I'm out of breath, but I can finally breathe. Tuffman was suffocating me. It's that feeling you get when someone stands too close, or looks over your shoulder while you're reading, or tries to get you to give them things you want to keep for yourself, like your dessert, or your mom's soul. It's not just that he was in my space. It's like he was trying to climb inside of me. I almost told him everything. Vincent is standing at my bedroom door. He looks worried. What happened, man? Did you get in trouble? I saw you running down the hall and then Tuffman grabbed you and marched you into the dean's office. Later, I say. I'm done talking for the day. I pushed past him to open the door. I'm about to shut it, but Vincent has already stepped in behind me. Friends tell each other stuff, he says. For a split second, I want to push him out of my room, but there's a look on his face that stops me. He wants to listen to me because I listened to him last night. He thinks he owes me. It's like sharing stuff, only it's not your baseball mitt or a book. It's words. Tuffman says he's my great uncle. I say it quick, like ripping off a Band-Aid. Vincent blinks. No way. Tuffman? Tuffman, I say. Then I say more. It just pops out. It's so embarrassing. I'd rather have Mean Jack for a twin or Gollum for an aunt. Vincent cracks up like the whole thing is just some crazy random joke. It makes me smile too. My mom says you can't pick family. You just take what you get and lump it, Vincent says after he stops laughing. But if I could, I'd pick you to be my brother. He stretches out his hand. Brother, he says. Brother, I say back. We shake. People always tell you talking will make you feel better, but it's not the talking that makes you feel better. It's the person listening. Vincent picks up my code book and flips through it for a while. Then all of a sudden he sets it down. So why is he being such a jerk to you then? He asks. I shrug. Maybe it's because he's a jerk? You know what? He's just like my stepfather. All he wants is to boss me around. It's like he's trying to get his claws into me. So I do what he says the second he says it. I grin. I pull up my shirt. I can see the reflection of my back in the mirror when I turn to show him. Just above each shoulder blade are 4 red half moons. He did that to you? Vincent asks. Yeah. This is the side effect of a hug from Tuffman. Vincent's eyes glint. I'm gonna get him for you, just like I got my stepdad. Don't bother, I say. I'm happy he cares enough to want to, but I've got bigger fish to fry, if you know what I mean. I've got a cougar to hunt and a girl to win. Vincent shrugs like it doesn't matter anyway. He holds up the code book and heads to the door. Can I borrow this? What's mine is yours, I say as he leaves. That's what my dad always said to anyone who wanted anything, and he meant it, too. He's the kind of guy who would give you the shirt off of his back. You ask for it, it's yours. Tuffman's the kind of guy who will take the shirt off your back. Then he'll put it on and take a nap in your bed. It makes me think. Tuffman didn't lie about everything, but he twisted the truth like a wolf twists a bunny's neck. My dad's not selfish. He'd give you everything, even if it meant he'd end up with nothing. Maybe, maybe that's what happened when my dad lost my mom. He had nothing left.